Hello, Internet. I'm Daniel.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Jake.
And we're Cinema Brawls. And here at Cinema Brawls, we like to do things. The hard things. And so today, instead of a normal brawl or something to do with Pixar, we are doing a bracket. Specifically, a villains bracket.
Now, here's what we've done. The three of us, the three of us, have collaborated.
Specifically.
Yes. Have collaborated and came up with a list of approximately 148 villains from both film and TV.
Is that approximately, or is that how many villains?
That is exactly how many villains are on the board.
Sounds like a really specific number to be approximated.
We randomized them, put them into 4 different quadrants, as you can see here. And we are going to battle them together, much like we do our normal videos, in a March Madness style bracket. If it wins, it'll move forward. And then we'll decide what is the best villain of all time.
Yeah, and we're going to bring it down to a solid top 4 as well as we get to pick, I guess collectively we will pick one resurrection villain to also fight for a spot in the top 4.
Mm-hmm. Now, the three of us previously have written down what we think the top 4 will be and the subsequent winner, and we have placed them in an undisclosed location, so Daniel won't snoop.
No,
I just want to know.
When we get to the end, we will bring out our guesses beforehand and see who got the closest, and whoever got the closest will win a prize. The very first Cinema Brawls t-shirt. We will base our decisions on 5 specific categories. We won't necessarily talk about all 5 each time, but this is generally what we're basing our decisions off of.
Specifically.
We will be basing these decisions on if the villain had good style. How did they look? Motive. Did they have a good motive? Well, good.
There is already kind of like a order of motive. I feel like revenge is towards the bottom, because come on, that's true.
Execution.
Well, I think it has to be. It depends on the character.
Tell you what, if we find a good revenge villain, you let me know.
We'll get there. Next category will be execution. What was their plan, and did they pull it off? 4th would be memorability. Are they memorable? And last, of course, is likability. Enough lollygagging. Let's go to the board. We're doing it here. On your mark, get set, brawl! All right, so here, again, is the bracket. For this episode, we will only be going through the preliminary matchups. We will just go down the line, all 148, mind you. Should be easy, because it's easy to weed out,
Yeah, we probably won't have too much discussion on a lot of these.
It should be pretty
because
easy.
It's going to be kind of obvious, but once it gets farther down or deeper into the bracket, or if it is a good matchup in itself, we'll probably talk about it.
So we have the most entries, but the least discussion for this first episode.
Right.
There will be 4 of these.
So basically, we'll be discussing the villains that matter the most and need the most discussion.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, why waste any more time? Let's start. From the top, we have Jafar, the animated one, not the live-action one, and Hopper from A Bug's Life.
Hopper. The first of many Kevin Spacey entries.
Yeah, no kidding, actually, though. So I feel more inclined to vote for Jafar, just because he's kind of the more conventional villain. But let's think about what Hopper did.
Hopper, like I said, was more intimidating.
Very intimidating.
Especially as a child. Like, Jafar was like, ooh, creepy old dude, what's he gonna do? Hopper was like, don't want to run into him in an alley.
Like, Jafar was sneaky, did a lot of things in the background. Hopper was just like, hey kid, give me your lunch money.
No. I liked Hopper a lot.
He
But
enslaved
actually-
this whole country of ants, basically.
For who knows how long before the movie actually happened.
The thing is that Jafar actually had an evil plan. Hopper had already taken over. He didn't necessarily have an evil plan. His evil plan was just, I don't know, hopefully today's the same as yesterday kind of a thing.
So yeah, that's the interesting thing about Bug's Life and why it's underrated is it wasn't a classic, let's stop the bad guy from doing the thing. The bad guy has the thing. It's been done for years, and it's like, All right, let's watch the heroes overthrow the already in place bad guy.
Which is true. So it's like props to him because, you know, he executed and did well. And if you think about Jafar, not gonna lie, a lot of his plan came from Iago.
That's true.
In fact, most of it came from Iago.
Hey, how about we go after this kid? Hey, how about this genie thing?
Iago's the one's like, hey, why don't you marry the Sultan's daughter and then you can become Sultan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, Iago.
It's like,
should be
why
up
didn't
here.
Jafar think of that before?
So, I don't know. I feel bad to see Jafar lose right away, but Hopper really is a good villain.
He's losing
Hopper's
to
a
a
good
good villain.
Yeah. You know, I'd vote Hopper.
I think I would too.
Okay. Wow, this is...
Well,
Jafar's great, but I like Hopper a lot more. I think he's a lot cooler of a villain.
All right, the next one is Joffrey Baratheon
From Game of Thrones?
from Game of Thrones versus Gaston.
Joffrey.
Definitely
Instantly.
Joffrey.
Instantly
He's
Joffrey.
just the biggest tool in media.
like,
Yeah,
on
Like,
the
I think he at
planet.
least deserves to just move right. I mean, sure, Gaston's a tool,
He's a jerk.
but
He's full of
Joffrey is
himself.
a
Yeah.
tool.
Joffrey,
Like,
that
so-
guy.
Like when Gaston died, you're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
he died. When Joffrey died, it's like, dang right you are.
Yeah, and he was choking on his blood, too. It was like a gruesome
That was
death.
intense.
Let's move on. All right, next one is Baron Zemo from the MCU Civil War going against Alex DeLarge, the weirdo from A Clockwork Orange.
Okay, Alex DeLarge is so.
I hate that movie.
That's so. Oh man.
It's a weird one.
That's the thing is I hate that movie too, but I get the feeling that's the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's the point, but
Point.
there's a couple things. First of all, we're talking about the main character of
A Clockwork.
A Clockwork
Yes.
Orange. Yeah, he was awful.
Malcolm
and
McDowell, that's his name.
Here's the thing: is he was a bad person and he raped people.
He was a bad person, and he killed people.
Yeah, I would say he did.
He did the most damage.
He did a lot of bad stuff, but Baron Zemo as a villain was a lot more thought out. I'd say he did a lot more damage because he did a lot of murder.
He had a more careful motive. Alex DeLarge is much like the Joker, who we'll get to in a few matchups.
And you know
where
what?
He's just wanting chaos.
He just wants chaos. He's just this punk guy, no plans in life. Just, I don't know, today I kind of want to do a murder.
Yeah.
That sounds
Why
good.
not?
I'll give you this: Baron Zemo is a good representation of revenge villain.
He is an interesting characterization. He definitely had a much more intimate plan, but it's like the difference between a planning villain and just a chaotic villain.
Yeah, which is technically better.
Yeah, but I mean,
like a lot-
I say it depends, but most of the time I would say a well thought out villain is better than just chaos.
With very
You have to do the
Joker-ish
chaos
exceptions.
right. And this dude just going around like beating people up, raping them.
And the thing is, he gets caught. Like, they're trying to rehabilitate him.
But the thing is that he's so bad they can't. They try and they fail.
That's true. Zemo is definitely more memorable for sheer... The movie is more recent, but he's definitely more likable in my book.
And his execution is off the charts.
Oh, definitely.
Like, he did it.
Even if Alex DeLarge is technically more evil,
Right.
Baron Zemo...
Yeah, being more evil, that's a thing you're going to notice throughout this bracket. Being more evil does not mean you're a better villain.
All right, so what are we thinking?
Baron Zemo. There was never a question about that.
I'm feeling more Alex DeLarge, but I know you're gonna go with Baron Zemo, so I'm fine with it moving up.
Yeah, it's gonna be Zemo.
Right.
Edgar from Ella Enchanted. I don't know if you guys remember that movie.
Oh, Carrie
And
Ellis, yeah.
Mr. Glass. Was it Carrie Ellis? Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Carrie Ellis versus Samuel L. Jackson.
I'd say Mr. Glass.
Again, more of the more thought out, planning, methodical villain.
He did a lot more damage, at least from what we could see.
Edgar was just mean.
Yeah.
Edgar was mean, but he did have a plan. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Glass
But
caused.
That's just such a silly movie.
Ella Enchanted, it really is.
And Glass caused like a lot of tragedies. Like he killed a lot of people.
That's true.
For a ridiculous reason.
And especially at the beginning when you thought that he was like a good guy, but then at the end of Unbreakable when it's like, oh, crap, he's the one that caused all this.
Especially when we learn from the Glass movie that he's literally doing this just because he likes comics and he wants to have that kind of quarrel with somebody.
Yeah.
He's doing this just to live out some twisted childhood dream.
I vote
basically-
Glass.
I also vote Glass. Daniel, your opinion is
Yeah,
invalid.
glass.
His opinion was glass.
The Joker versus the shark from Jaws.
So Joker.
Joker. Why was Jaws in here?
I don't know, but I mean, if anybody was going to go up against him round one, glad it was a shark.
That's true. All right. Sheriff Nottingham from the brand new Robin Hood, the Taron Egerton Robin Hood,
Cool.
versus the MCU's Vulture.
So I know the Vulture's gonna win, and that's cool. I just want to say, the sheriff in the new Robin Hood are actually like so weird in their own way.
The Vulture. Michael Keaton did such a good job as a bad guy.
Yeah, no, the Vulture wins.
Sheriff Nottingham is an interesting, like, classic villain trope. But there's another Sheriff Nottingham in this bracket that I would rather have move forward than this
right,
one.
no, for sure. And
Vulture killed him.
Vulture. Although, props to Ben Mendelsohn. He plays a lot of villains lately.
Yeah.
And he's good at it.
Okay, who's next?
Next one, Kaiser Soze from The Usual Suspects, another Kevin Spacey, mind you, versus Dr. Evil / Mini-Me from Austin Powers.
Kaiser Soze.
Kaiser Soze is more evil. Dr. Evil is
He's a ridiculous, ludicrous villain, but I love him.
an over-the-top
I hate
parody of an actual villain.
Yeah, he's a parody of a James Bond villain, which is why I really like
Which
him.
are also already.
And
Who's
a
also on
mini-me.
here, by
He's
the way.
got a mini-me. That guy gets points for style and memorability and likability.
For sure.
I'm voting Dr. Evil.
Kaiser Soze's plan is just so much better. And the fact that The Usual Suspects is just him BSing his way through this story. And like how he tricks everyone, including the audience. Sorry.
I'm more inclined to vote for Kaiser Soze, but like, I have serious problems with the fact that, yeah, I got played too in that freaking movie.
Right.
Like, you don't find out till the last, literally, frame of the movie, or last couple minutes of the movie, where you see him limping and he's like, oh, I'm fine. Yep, by the way, I'm Kaiser Soze. You just don't see what he does, and it bugs me that he gets away with it.
And that's the best.
But I also don't like Austin Powers.
Austin Powers is such a bad.
We're gonna go with Kaiser Soze. Okay, next up is the Pale Man, that weird hand demon from Pan's Labyrinth, versus Gus Fring from Breaking Bad.
The Pale Man is definitely one of the more creepy monsters.
But he doesn't really do anything. He's just there for once.
I mean, he eats children.
he does eat
which is
children, but
messed
we
up.
never actually see that.
It's implied,
I feel like Gus does a little more damage.
but he's also,
Plus, Gus had a way cooler death.
yeah.
I vote Gus.
Yeah, for this bracket, we'll go with Gus.
Okay, let it be known though, the Pale Man is creepy. Okay, next up is Colonel Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards, going up against Team Rocket.
Team Rocket,
Pokemon.
100%.
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, no, Christoph Waltz.
That whole opening scene alone deserves him like 3 spaces up. That guy.
But actually though,
That's the most happy, like, go-lucky villain I've ever seen, and he still intimidates you.
I don't know.
he's so polite about it too.
Yeah.
Can I have a glass of milk, please? By the way, you're hiding Jews under the floor. I can hear them.
Right. He's a Nazi, but he's like the nicest Nazi you'll ever meet. But he's also evil.
Cersei Lannister, another Game of Thrones villain, up against Scar. Again, animated, not live action.
Scar's a good, memorable villain. Cersei Lannister is so bad, though.
But what does she do? She sits and drinks wine staring out of a window.
For the last 2 seasons. Before that, she has dozens of people murdered, including an entire church, like basically the Vatican, that she blows up with all of her political enemies inside. And just basically goes around ruining everyone's lives because she just wants to.
I just find her boring. I find a lot of Game of Thrones boring.
Well, see, that's the problem, is that she came into power in Game of Thrones when the writers started to suck.
I'm voting Scar.
I know. See, I think that she would be a great villain. I just wish that she had better material.
There's at least one other Game of Thrones villain in this bracket somewhere, I think. I mean, we already have a Game of Thrones going, and I have written an entire script for a future video about why Scar is so great.
Scar is pretty great. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I think Scar's great.
Anton Chigurh, Doofed from No Country for Old
Oh, I
Men.
read that as Alvin the Chipmunk.
He is an evil guy. Anton Chigurh versus Khan, the Benedict Cucumber version.
You know what?
Stark.
That haircut alone strikes fear into my soul. So.
If we're going with the original Khan, okay, maybe.
He's way over the top. I can't take him seriously. I'd rather have the Benedict Cumberbatch.
That dude.
Oh yeah, no,
Well,
Anton Chigurh.
yeah.
You can make a candy bar wrapper be intimidating.
Right. Yeah, he's pretty intimidating. I think he's a good villain.
Sketchy guy.
Okay, here's our third Kevin Spacey villain.
Sorry, I know for a fact the fourth doesn't come until round 4.
Lex Luthor from Superman Returns. I understand that movie gets a lot of flack, but I think Kevin Spacey did. Oh, I didn't even read the next one. Regina Mills from Once Upon a Time.
Oh yeah, no, Lex Luthor. Hardcore.
Brandon Routh is a good Superman. He fits the look.
And he's like, yeah, no, he
Lex
looks
Luthor
fantastic.
is the most evil in Superman Returns.
You know, I thought that movie was dumb.
Superman Returns?
I didn't like it.
I'm not a big
I
fan
think
of
it
any
deserves the
Superman.
flack. And Kevin Spacey's moved up twice now, and I really like Regina from Once Upon a Time.
Regina's so annoying, though.
She's a good villain.
This whole show just kind of...
Every time she kind of grows, even a little bit, they have to bring her back because they can't possibly have another villain. And I don't think she was that great in the beginning. Daniel? What are you voting for?
Lex Luthor.
Regina?
Yeah.
Well, I'm voting for Lex Luthor, so you can suck it. Honestly, I don't think either of these are going to the top, but let's be real. Next up, we got Calvin Candy from Django Unchained going against Dennis Nedry, the computer guy from Jurassic Park.
Calvin Candy.
Oh yeah, hardcore.
That dude was amazing.
Absolutely.
What a great movie.
It's an example of why the crap did Leonardo DiCaprio not get an Oscar until Revenant.
Oh, he deserved it a lot of times, but
He deserved it for Titanic, he just wasn't 40 yet.
no.
Okay, another one from Once Upon a Time, the TV show. Rumpelstiltskin going against Jack Torrance from The Shining.
Jack Torrance.
Jack
So
Torrance.
Jack, yeah. Again, Once Upon a Time just keeps backtracking to those two because they can't come up with other villains.
Rumpelstiltskin's a punk.
He is. All right, this will be kind of tricky. Loki, Tom Hiddleston, MCU Loki, versus Scarecrow from Batman Begins.
Watched that movie yesterday.
First time watching it, I was like, wow, Scarecrow was disappointing. Because I know the comics, the Batman video games, he's awesome. He was just a little disappointing in the movie. But watching it more and more, I'm like, it's not that bad.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about Scarecrow and Loki? They're both good villains, but they're also both kind of secondary villains to someone who's actually in charge, which I find interesting. However, while Scarecrow is great, Loki definitely...
More memorable.
He's got a lot more going for him. I would probably give it to Loki.
I'd honestly do Scarecrow just because Scarecrow, even though he's a secondary villain, is just so intimidating. Like, he makes mob bosses go crazy. Versus Loki, who just fails over and over again.
I don't know. I think they're both kind of punks and they're both kind of failures.
Yeah, but I have more hatred toward Batman Begins Scarecrow because, again,
It's true.
I know what Scarecrow could be,
That's the
and
thing.
he wasn't it.
Scarecrow has better iterations of that.
Lucifer from Supernatural versus the Child Catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Okay, now
If you don't
stick
know who
with
that
me.
is, do a quick Google search and tell me that guy is not freaking terrifying.
Terrifying. And like,
Here's my problem with Lucifer from Supernatural. He got beaten pretty easy.
I mean, it took a little while, and I think that the reason why Lucifer might be considered an okay villain is that just how long he lasted. I mean, he's played by the guy from Lost. I can't remember his name right now, and he's really charismatic in the role.
He's supposed to be. Like,
Yeah.
it's the devil you're playing.
Yeah.
But then even after that, like, him basically being a form of PTSD for Sam and stuff, like just that part, it started to wear thin, but at the same time it was a good couple seasons arc for the guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was alright, but it was like, he didn't do anything. Like, he just waited for Sam to come up to him and be like, okay, you can enter my body. And then, like, 2 days later, sure, he can't be killed by the gun, which is impressive, but he got taken out by an army man stuck in a car.
But with all that being said, compared to the child catcher, who, beyond his terrifying looks,
But he's caught so many children. That's the thing, is the entire town was devoid of children. They were gone. Whether they were in hiding or he took them.
Bro, I'm going with the child catcher.
I think I went.
I love Supernatural. Lucifer was not my favorite villain in it. I think honestly, the
Yellow
Trickster. Well, Yellow-Eyed Demon.
Dude,
Trickster's
he's-
my favorite villain.
Dude, he's funny.
He's
the
hilarious.
episodes that he's in are really
Yellow-Eyed villain is better than Lucifer.
in terms of the arc of the story, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but is the
When-
Yellow-Eyed Demon, who's our next matchup, better than Jim Moriarty from the Robert Downey Jr. show Sherlock Holmes?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, hardcore.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just because he gets more time, though. The problem is,
You'll
though,
not.
Moriarty as a whole, like, no matter, like, just his reputation and background and character and stuff, like, no matter where he's coming from, is a good villain.
He's a good foil to Sherlock. He's not necessarily
not even really
an
that-
antagonist to anyone else, though. So Yellow-Eyed Demon's better.
Yeah, Yellow Demon.
All right, what's
All
next?
right. So since there's an odd number of villains in each quadrant, we will now have to decide between three. Either Cell from Dragon Ball Z, either the real or the abridged version, your
Let's
choice.
go with the bridged.
Okay.
We'll go with the
Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, or Blofeld from James Bond.
Cell.
Cell.
Cell?
Yep.
Okay.
From DBZ Abridged. Not the
Oh.
original
Specifically.
DBZ
Yeah, but
Abridged.
either way, he's a good
He's
villain.
still a good villain, but like the
DBZ
one
Abridged.
I want to have up here and the one I want to show clips from is from Abridged.
Next up, we've got Obadiah Stane, Jeff Bridges from Iron Man,
Right.
versus Pierre Despereaux, Carrie Elwes in the TV show Psych.
Oh, I love both these.
This is going to
villains.
be hard for you specifically.
It is. Obadiah Stane was a great villain.
He was more evil, but Pierre Despereaux's a lot more likable.
He is.
yeah,
He's
no,
a
for
lot
sure.
more fun, and he's really smart, actually.
Very smart.
And as Carrie was.
Come on.
You know, I would probably go with Pierre.
Me too.
Go.
So I'm going with
Okay, next up is Roy Batty from Blade Runner. Going up against Belloc from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Cool.
Batty.
So Belloc?
Belloc.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Roy Batty is kind of interesting, but
His last name's Batty.
The Thing from John Carpenter's The Thing, going up against the White Witch from Chronicles of Narnia.
The Thing?
Yeah, the thing. It's the difference between a good movie monster and a regular villain. And honestly, the
Memorable
Thing-
villain.
Yeah, but the White Witch just wasn't
As
good enough.
memorable as The Thing.
The White Witch isn't good enough to beat one of the best movie monsters that there is.
It was good enough they had to keep bringing her back in the sequels because they couldn't.
Because she was the only good part about that first movie.
Exactly. Go watch our Curse of the Boring movie on the Chronicles of Narnia.
It's in this corner.
Okay. Next up is the Predator, going up against the Borg from Star Trek.
Predator.
Specifically, this John Picard.
See, the thing is, the Predator is fine. He's okay. He looks super cool. But the problem is that he's really bad at his job. Like, if his job is to like take humans and like do the most dangerous game kind of a thing, but with aliens, cool. Don't fail at it.
Well, here's the thing. It's very similar to Hopper. We have no idea how long the Predator has been doing this, and he's been good at it. It just takes a very specific Arnold Schwarzenegger to stop him.
Right.
Yeah. When you're going up against Arnie, your gun's to die.
And let's be real, going up against the Borg, Predator's gonna win.
Predator.
See, but the thing is that the Borg has taken over entire civilizations. It has assimilated so many people in its quest for perfection. If they don't assimilate, they're dead. And they have taken over so many throughout the galaxy. And it only takes Picard to beat them after he has been assimilated. Like, he becomes a Borg and is able to get away.
Which is impressive.
Which is
For
impressive.
Picard. I don't know, I just
All
think
it's telling me is the poor got beaten by one of their own. I don't know. I like the Predator because he's a hardcore, freaking vicious hunter. and I just think that everything about him is super cool.
Very cool. Okay.
Predator wins by 1, even if we give him execution to work.
This is unfortunate.
Mewtwo versus Darth Vader.
Mewtwo from the first Pokemon movie.
Okay, is it from the first Pokemon movie?
From the first Pokemon movie against Vader. I mean, it's so obvious.
Yeah, but they both kind of go good in the end.
But let it be said that Mewtwo did awesome in that movie.
He made Pikachu cry, which made me cry.
But the obvious answer is Vader.
Yeah.
We all know it.
Darth Vader was hardcore.
Sorry, Mewtwo. We love ya.
Okay, the Gentlemen, those villains from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, going up against Emperor Commodus from Gladiator.
Emperor Commodus.
Commodus?
Commodus, yeah.
I mean, Gladiator was a pretty dope movie.
It was.
And I mean, come on.
Also,
J.O. Quinn Phoenix.
right. Also, watch last week's video where I talk about Pirates of the Caribbean and mention Gladiator.
Tangentially mentioned.
That didn't feel like a plug at all.
Please watch our stuff. It's in this corner.
But also, let it be said that the Gentlemen from Buffy are terrifying.
Terrifying.
Terrifying. Okay. Captain Barbossa, Pirates of the Caribbean,
Go watch our video. It's in this corner.
going up against the Devil from Devil's Advocate.
Captain Barbossa.
Ooh. See, the problem is Devil's Advocate is actually kind of just a bad movie, but he's played by Al Pacino, and he's so much fun in it.
I like
But it's a
Barbossa
bad
better,
movie.
just
Barbossa's
because I don't
bad.
think anybody that's really done their version of the Devil has really pulled it off exactly how I would like.
Captain
That makes sense.
Barbossa is amazing in the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
But in the last ones,
Yeah, after the first movie, he goes soft, which I think is kind of weak. But Captain Barbossa is a great villain.
I liked how in the third one he was helpful just for personal gain.
yeah.
You know?
All right, Dr. Vollmer from A Cure for Wellness, or Michael Myers.
Dr. Vollmer is an evil, gross dude.
Creepy.
Creepy dude.
Michael Myers is
Sadist.
incredibly more memorable.
See, that's the thing. They go through great lengths to make sure you know he's not actually a sadist.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Michael Myers. Norman Bates, or Kingpin from the Daredevil TV show.
Norman Bates is cool. Psycho's a good movie.
Psycho is a
I like
classic.
Psycho.
It's a classic.
Kingpin is also pretty good. He's just so breathy.
There are other iterations of Kingpin, like in Into the Spider-Verse, that's a little bit better for me.
Yeah, and he's not even the best Spider-Man villain on here. I guess technically this is a Daredevil villain, but he's a Spider-Man.
I mean, he's
You
great
kind of
in
take-
Daredevil. I like him a lot in Daredevil. But I like Norman Bates as the antagonist better.
Norman Bates?
And he was so much scarier.
Yeah.
Especially dressed as his mom just coming in.
Yeah. Okay. Claude Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame, the animated, or Jabba the Hutt.
Claude Frollo.
That was easy. Swiper the Fox
That's the one.
going up against Reverse Flash from the Flash TV show.
Ooh, Reverse Flash was sick.
He was.
Yeah, I'm going Reverse Flash.
Swiper was mostly just put in here for the sake of competition.
Yeah.
Sauron, Lord of the Rings, or Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begins.
I love Ra's al Ghul. I love Liam Neeson, but I think Sauron wins this.
Sauron sucks.
He's a giant eye.
That's the eye of Sauron. Sauron himself isn't in the movies.
But his presence is felt. That's the thing is that...
Okay, but
even-
I would rather... Sorry, I have controversial feelings
No,
against
well,
Lord of
let's
the
hear
Rings.
it.
I don't think Sauron's a good villain. I really don't. The orcs, and what are they called? Like the super
Uruk-hai?
orcs. The Uruk-hai. They're very cool. Very intense. And Sauron, like the eye is kind of menacing, but it doesn't do anything.
I think Saruman is a
Saruman...
better villain than the orcs. And,
Well, yeah,
and maybe
again, that's
even
really
better
my point.
than Sauron, but not really, because the thing with Sauron is he doesn't have to do anything for it to be really intimidating and intense just in his presence.
He's
Like, could you imagine if the freaking hobbits got caught by that eye?
And they
what
did.
would go down?
They did. Several times. He knew exactly where they were.
I think that Sauron specifically is more a personification of corrupting influences.
And I can get behind that.
He corrupts everything close to him, including the land. The land dies around him. And only twisted monstrosities can be close to him and survive.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick? Sure. A little off topic. I watched, like I said, I watched Batman Begins like yesterday. And I specifically remember them keep calling him Ra's al Ghul. Because it kept bugging me from before, but I don't remember them saying that this time when I watched it.
It kind of flips. Sometimes it's Ross, sometimes it's Raish.
When do they call him Ra's? Do they call him Ra's in the first
They
one?
call him Ra's mostly in the video games.
They call him Raish.
Was it the video games?
It's the video games that call
That
him
might be
Raish.
where I'm
They
remembering
also
it.
call him Raish in the Arrow TV show because he's a villain in one of the seasons.
And they're wrong.
Yeah, I like Ra's al Ghul. But I kept waiting for them to say like Ra's al Ghul because I thought it was specifically
But it
for
never
Batman
happened.
Begins. It never happened.
No, it's
Interesting.
mostly from Arkham City.
It kind of
I think I'm
switches.
gonna vote Sauron.
If you vote Sauron, I wouldn't be too upset because he's definitely more memorable. Lord of the Rings compared to
Yeah.
Ra's al
I
Ghul.
just like
I'll
his
go with
presence.
Sauron.
Yeah, I like his
Alright.
presence more.
The corrupting influences of Sauron.
But I love
I will
Ra's
give it
al
more
Ghul.
points because of how you described that. That makes me feel better about it. I still think, I don't know.
Because you have to understand, it's all metaphorical.
Right.
Alright, what's next?
Aku from Samurai Jack
Love Aku.
versus Jareth the Goblin King, David Bowie in the movie Labyrinth.
See,
going
just
Aku.
for his pants, I kind of want to go David Bowie, but yeah, Aku.
No, it's gonna be Aku.
Yeah.
Think about what he did.
Yeah.
He sent his antagonist to the future after he already won. That's brilliant. And I hate Labyrinth, so.
Aku is just visually insane.
Terrifying.
Like, what is that thing?
And he's just like kind of hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
He's so sarcastic
I like his
too. It's
voice.
like, oh hey.
Just the way he talks. Anyway,
Anyway, the Wicked Witch of the West against Freddy Krueger.
my boy Fred
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy
Krueger
did a lot more damage for sure.
jumps through dreams. It's pretty dope.
A lot more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
That bird
the
face
fir-
is scary looking.
The first Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah, no,
We'll just assume,
definitely
yeah.
Freddy.
Okay, Clayton from Tarzan versus Shigo from Kim Possible.
Clayton?
Shigo.
Clayton.
Really?
Yeah. I think Clayton was alright, but he was just a hunter who tried to capture some gorillas. Shigo is not only more enjoyable as a villain, but she had better style and she was actually a lot smarter about a lot of the things she does. Why she stayed a sidekick the whole time, I will never know. But I feel like she kind of broke out of it, and I
She had a lot more better reasons for doing what she did.
She
Clayton went a very extreme way.
And it's not even that Clayton's just kind of a bad villain. He's not
Yeah.
that great when you really think about it.
I like Clayton.
I like Clayton. It's tricky because we can't really picture Clayton in any other scenario. Out in the jungle where there's only gorillas, that's all he wants, that's all he does, and he goes to extreme lengths to
Right.
do it. How would he be in another scenario? Maybe worse.
Yeah,
We just don't.
I just don't think like his motivation was what, getting money, killing gorillas. Shigo has more depth and, like I said, more enjoyable.
Came from a more tragic past.
She did, and I think she's a lot smarter than Clayton.
Remember
is.
the episode where like her family came in and they were all the different colors?
Dude specifically.
That was good.
Yeah, I like Shigo a lot more than I like Clayton.
You guys watch Kim Possible way more than I do.
Impossible was a great show.
I only saw it once and it was live as a kid. I haven't seen it since, but I remember a lot
I have
from
watched it since. It was like the first show I watched when I got back.
David Lindhager going up against Count Olaf, the Jim Carrey movie version.
David Lindhager is the dude from Crazy Stupid Love, played by Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. He's a douche, but Count Olaf is evil.
You're right. It's definitely Count Olaf, but I'm glad David Lindhager at least got a mention in his
Yeah.
bracket.
Much
Yeah.
like Swiper the Fox and Team Rocket.
David Lindhug? You're David Lindhug?
Okay.
We use that specific clip a lot.
A lot. Like, that's a great clip.
Okay, here's Lotso Huggin' Bear, Toy Story 3, going up against, my opinion, the better Sheriff Nottingham, Alan Rickman from Kevin Costner's Robin Hood.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna cut your heart out with a spoon. I had a spoon, cousin. Why not like an axe or a sword or something? It's a spoon. It's dull. It'll hurt more.
Very ridiculous, but I think he was better as that character than the other Sheriff Nottingham.
I'm going Lotso.
But Lotso was more evil, you're right.
Lotso.
We mentioned that in the Pixar ranking, he had every opportunity to turn it around and he just didn't.
And he didn't. And sure, he had a tragic, past.
Sure.
But, I don't feel like that justified anything. And I think he's just straight evil. I just think he's a bad person and he got what was coming to him. So, yeah, I'm going Lotso.
Daniel?
Yeah, I'll go Lotso for this one.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, Alan Rickman is great and we love him.
Anybody who runs a concentration camp is evil.
Okay.
Anyone who runs a concentration camp is evil.
I was trying not to make this political.
Okay, back to another 3 match. Cruella DeVille, Patrick Bateman, for the Christian Bale, Patrick Bateman, or Azula from Last Airbender.
Azula.
Yeah, Azula.
Azula's twisted.
Yeah. And she's awesome.
Cruella DeVille's just not nice, and Patrick Bateman, it could be argued
insane.
it was all in his head.
Azula was just insane.
Azula was just straight mess.
Yes,
That's
it's
lame.
a period piece.
That's lame. I'm voting Hades. Are you voting Hades?
I'm voting Hades.
You guys suck.